Okay then. Hello, hello, hello world. This is Cruz, master of all things pop culture and everything in general. Here's an analogy for how I feel about pop music these days. It's a bright, summery day. I'm living in a nice suburban neighborhood with a beautiful house and a beautiful yard, 3 kids and the 2 dogs. It's garbage day, so the garbage trucks are coming by to pick up the garbage, as you know. But instead of picking up my garbage and cleaning the streets, they're dumping garbage all over the streets, and you can't avoid the garbage because it's all over the neighborhood. That's how I feel when I listen to music these days, particularly Gen Z pop music. Now, disclaimer, I don't think all Gen Z pop stars are doo-doo, only most of them. And I'm specifically referring to the pop stars who are native to TikTok, create these short-form 2-minute songs meant to capture your attention and do nothing else, and more or less make music for Spotify algorithm playlists. This is all my taste. It's not really an objective ranking or an objective analysis of these artists, but I do think it's objective that if these artists' writing were better, they perhaps would have stronger footprints in the music industry than they do now. These artists' lyrics sound like they were produced by 20 men in a boardroom who paid Spotify for information about what music they're putting on their playlist and tried to replicate that as much as they can without any innovation, without any risk whatsoever. First and foremost, we have Reneé Rapp, queen of sapphic lyricism, as many would say, or as I should say, as many of the online gays would say, not what I would say. So the song I really want to talk about as what I think is a representative of bad or perhaps undercooked or underwhelming lyricism. Let's start with I Think I Like You Better. So I've listened to the song. I'm not going to really be talking about melody or instrumentals here. I'm going to be focusing mostly on lyrics today. And if you're wondering, who am I to be critiquing lyrics and by professional music industry people? And I'd say to that, I'm me, the best writer in the world. So I Think I Like You Better When You're Gone is a song about drinking and feeling alone after losing a relationship, I suspect, and realizing that despite all the pain you're going through, life is still worth living, and perhaps it's better now without this loved one. And I'm assuming it's a romantic partner, even though it's not actually specified in the lyrics, because the lyrics are quite vague. The chorus is, I know that I'm supposed to miss you and wish that you were here, but the more I drink, the more I think you might just disappear. I got a funny feeling something's wrong. I think I like you better. I think I like you better when you're gone. Poetic. The chorus is supposed to be palatable to an audience and hook listeners, first and foremost. As a chorus, it's quite wordy, but just because it's wordy doesn't mean it's unlistenable or it's bad. The problem with this chorus is that it's quite vague. She has a decent line, but the more I drink, the more I think you might just disappear. The reason that to me stands out is because I think that it's sort of poetic and it sounds good when it rolls off the tongue, but there's nothing like particularly original about this chorus. I know that Reneé Rapp has been in musicals before. She played Regina George in Mean Girls. I'm not getting any personality out of this. I know that I'm supposed to miss you and wish that you were here. I think this is sort of, she's trying to call out a cliche, but there's nothing subverted when she's calling out the cliche. I got a funny feeling something's wrong. What's wrong? What's the funny feeling? I think describe how it feels. The chorus suggests that in the absence of this person, she has grown happier, but there's no real reason that she should be happy. We don't know anything about this individual she's talking about. And this sense of catharsis that is totally not met because there's no buildup. And when you're reading the verses, out of sight, out of mind, even wore the poop that you don't like, had a little fun, got a little drunk, and it didn't kill nobody, right? It's vague. It has the aesthetic of specificity, right? Even wore the clothes that you don't like. But it says nothing about the situation itself. And using clothes as a metaphor for a past relationship is really overused. I get the sense in the song that she's attempting to be sincere and show that she's hurt by this relationship, but there's nothing really to grasp onto. Across the country, 3,000 miles away, 3 time zones from my face, and we're packing 2 different bags. It's still vague, but the 3,000 miles away, 3 time zones from my face, that does give you a sense of longing. The scale of the literal distance between the 2 individuals, I'm kind of affected by that. But the we're packing 2 different bags, that again is sort of a cliche line. We're packing bags. Obviously, we're leaving. Is there anything else? I mean, there's nothing here to separate Reneé Rapp from any of the other TikTok girlies who are making songs about missing their ex. Despite her having a bigger budget and having good producers and writers, there's nothing real here. So what would I do to make this song sound better? Or how would I rewrite some of these lines? I think that Reneé Rapp should lean more heavily into the specific aesthetic that she's attempting to carve out. Her album is titled Bite Me, but this song isn't biting. She's a musical theater kid, but there's nothing musically theatrical about this song. So if I was her, I would try to add a little flavor into these lines. I'm going to take a line that I think is really vague and rewrite it. I got a funny feeling something's wrong. I think it should be sharper because she's going for that real Regina George aesthetic, mean girl. She's a strong, independent woman who likes to do it with other women. I think I'll keep the I got a funny feeling part because that sets up an idea that's not followed through in the actual text, but in this rewrite we will follow through. I got a funny feeling. Oh, I have a good idea. I got a funny feeling behind the mascara and the gloss. My air conditioner thing just fell. I laugh when I'm performing because it hurts to sing this song. That could be a strong line. It ties into her role as a strong performer, moving away from the country. Ooh, I have one. Flying with no feeling. Is my heart even on? I mean, maybe it's a little melodramatic, but it's better than the vagueness that she presented earlier. Now, I wanted to present a song that I think Reneé Rapp did pretty well, and a direction that I think would be interesting for her. Just for a pointer, I really liked her song Leave Me Alone because, I don't know, it just had more personality. I mean, Leave Me Alone is a song about being a bad girl and being so cool and wild that you don't even want to pick up the phone for your manager who's asking for your next single. The reason this song is better than something like I Think I Like You Better When You're Gone is because it feeds into that Regina George aesthetic that she already has going for her. The singer-songwriter thing isn't really working. So for Reneé Rapp, I would really recommend that as she goes forward, she leads into the cool factor. Stop it with the ballads. They're not very well written. Commit to an aesthetic, because then you'll stand out. At least if you have an aesthetic, it'll differentiate you from the bland TikTok artist making guitar songs. Another artist I wanted to talk about was Conan Gray, the most talented songwriter of our generation, I may say. I want to talk about what Conan Gray has going for him and what he's really failing at, honestly. Conan Gray has a very strong aesthetic presence, which is something more than Reneé Rapp has. I really liked that cover he did for Found Heaven, which I don't think was a commercial success. And the new one he has for Wishbone, it's quite evocative, but the lyrics still haven't improved. The main problem with Conan Gray's lyricism is that his songs are all about the same thing, being heartbroken and devastated by a relationship gone wrong. Okay, that's literally what every song he has is about. Astronomy, people watching, vodka cranberry, or whatever he says. Let's look at Vodka Cranberry. His first somewhat successful song in like many years. It's like 100 million streams or whatever. So Vodka Cranberry, this is a song about missing someone you used to love and it being the worst thing in the world. But the lyrics are so corny that there's no insight. Look at this first verse. You say we're fine, but your brown eyes are green this time, so you've been crying. The image that you're conjuring isn't immediately clear. It takes a while to even understand what you're saying. Why are the brown eyes green? Do eyes change color when you cry? No. As the time we took a break, February 4th through the 16th of May. This is a trap that a lot of these Gen Z artists are falling into. It's fake specificity. February 4th through the 16th of May is a detail, but it's not evocative. It's actually just a placeholder line, even though it's supposed to be representative of an on and off relationship. Looking at the chorus, these first 3 lines are sort of cliche, especially looked at your picture and cried like a baby. If you're writing about being obsessed with a photograph like you're Ed Sheeran, you know you've got it wrong. Pictures are such a cliche image. Your picture of what? No clue. And then the line got too drunk off of Vodka Cranberry. It comes out of nowhere, actually, in the context of the song. There's nothing about drinking in the verses. Even the post-chorus, called you up in the middle of the night wailing like an imbecile, there's no reference to the cranberry. Shouldn't the vodka cranberry be an extended metaphor that goes over the entirety of this song rather than just a one-off line? I don't drink, so I don't even know what vodka cranberry is, but there has to be some connected imagery going through the entirety of the song. And here we go again with verse 2. You casually steal back your t-shirt and your polo cap. I noticed that. It's marginally better than the other lines because casually steal back is an inversion on take back, implying that the singer believes that he sort of owns this lover's clothing because of how close they were before. But it's still false specificity. Polo cap, t-shirt, uninteresting images. There's no double entendre. There's no inversion. It's just your t-shirt and your polo cap. So I don't care. And also, this song doesn't even have a bridge. I'm not saying that every personal singer-songwriter song needs to have a bridge, but it sort of implies that you rushed it. There's no catharsis. There's no climax. It's just, I will, or whatever he does with that auto-tune effect that's quite obnoxious. Let me delete the Reneé Rapp stuff. Boo. We're not going to do any cliche. We're not going to talk about the polo cap, and we're not going to talk about the 16th of May. Let's expand on the vodka cranberry. Let's create a scene, why don't we? Drinking through the on and off. The sober life, it makes me raw, because he loves whining about things, so no doubt if he stopped drinking the cranberry, he'd be crying even more. Hungover on the tears. I mean, I think the whole conceit for the song was sort of cliche to begin with and corny. But if you really want a song to take off, you have to write the lyricism. You have to tell the story. These lines that I just wrote now, it would take your song to a new dimension. I mean, let's talk about a song that I think Conan Gray was sort of good at, marginally. I mean, I hate this song, but if we're talking about places that Conan can go in the future, I want to revisit Manic. Oh, it's Maniac. I don't like how the song sounds. I think it sounds stupid, but there's something there. Conan Gray lacks a coolness that the other pop stars have right now. I know he's really close friends with Olivia Rodrigo. Olivia Rodrigo writes effortlessly. I get the sense that writing for Conan Gray is quite effortful. But a song like Maniac is a little bit cooler than anything he did before. Not just because it had a beat, but because he's taking on a different perspective than he has in his other songs. In his other songs, every breakup is the most miserable thing in the world. But he's on the offensive this time. Take this line. You show up at my home all alone with a shovel and a rose. That's kind of an evocative line, don't you think? And it's accusatory. Why does the individual have a shovel and a rose? He doesn't really expand on this in the song, but a little bit of mystique. And even though I think some of the lines are corny, so you should turn back to your Rat Pack, tell him I'm trash. Think about how much cooler you are when you're making this kind of music instead of the sappy ballads. Just advice. Now let's talk about Gracie Abrams. Yeah, I have thoughts on Gracie Abrams. Gracie Abrams is obviously incredibly inspired by Taylor Swift. It's in the details. But Taylor Swift does it better. Gracie Abrams wants to do the singer-songwriter thing in the woods so badly. But it's not really working because she's still using beginner cliches. She's still confusing melodrama for drama. And as an example, let's talk about Us from The Secret of Us, featuring Taylor Swift. A marketing mistake, I think, by the way. But anyway, I know you know. It felt just like a joke. I show you don't, and now we're talking. I know your ghost. I see her through the smoke. It's so vague. There's nothing even really going on here. What felt just like a joke? It? What does this individual know that you know? Nothing. I know your ghost. I see her through the smoke. A little bit more evocative with the imagery, but it doesn't really say anything about the past love that she's talking about. A ghost is a really vague way of talking about, is a really cliche way of talking about a past love. I want to talk about these pre-choruses. This line here, Babylon lovers hanging lifetimes on a vine, it's actually quite pretty. It's a very pretty line, but I do get the sense that it's really melodramatic. Babylon really is such an overused image. It's not enough to have these standalone pretty lines in a song that makes no mention to it again, and otherwise it's actually quite vague. Oh, look at this verse. This isn't bad. At least she's actually like bringing up concrete images. And maybe it's a little cliche to be bringing up all these past writers like Robert Bly, but it doesn't translate to the entire song. I'm not even going to talk about Taylor Swift's verse. Let's just rewrite this verse. Goodbye, Conan Gray. Maybe we can cut out a few things. Boring. I know you know. She reads you like a poem. I'm going to play on the history repeats itself motif that plays through the song, I think. I know you know, she reads you like a poem. You're Shakespeare's ghost. That's why you haunt her. Oh, like you're Shakespeare's ghost, so you haunt her. You see how that's just immediately more interesting? It's not necessarily specific in the way that like a song like All Too Well is specific. It doesn't really sit on the mundane, but it does conjure an interesting contrast. Our love never grows old. I kind of like that. I mean, obviously something like this would need revision, but it's immediately more interesting than the smoke and the show because it actually plays into the ideas that are represented in the song long term anyway. So I like that, yeah. Now let's talk about a song that I think Gracie Abrams did pretty well. I think, obviously, it's That's So True. I really like this song, and I like it lyrically. It's good. It's literally a song about, I would presume, stalking an ex-boyfriend and being judgmental that they're in a new relationship. Look at this this verse here. Living in your glass house, I'm outside. Looking into big blue eyes, it just hurt me, make me cry. That's evocative. That's actually conjuring a very concrete image system. You immediately know what the individual is feeling. But I will say about That's So True, as good as it is, it's still a little opaque. Gracie Abrams hasn't really carved out an aesthetic for herself. That's So True is a good song, but I do think that any good songwriter could have wrote it. Moving forward, I would really like to see her pick perhaps one theme, one aesthetic, one reoccurring image that goes through all of her songs. If you're going to stick with the lone songwriter reminiscing about a past love, you have to do more. Because Taylor Swift is already doing that. This is like a Tortured Poets Department kind of song, right? Like, it has a Taylor Swift bridge. It's personal and relatable. It's just not enough to write songs. Now, let's talk about Madison Beer. Madison who? I don't even know. So, Madison Beer just released her new album, Lock It. And I did not listen to it, but I have heard her new song, Bittersweet. The problem with Madison Beer is that she's very derivative of other artists in the mainstream. Ariana Grande, Tate McRae, she doesn't have her thing. So when I'm reading the lyrics of sweet. I don't get any personality from it. Look at this pre-chorus. Wanted to be with you, wanted to make it through, but did you? I swear I knew. Anyone could have written that. And there's nothing specific. There's nothing evocative about it. There are no images conjured. It's just vague sentiment, which is also what's carried over in the chorus. It's actually took the Google definition of bittersweet and pasted it over a song. That's it. Let's take, I think actually I'm going to, instead of rewriting songs, I'm just going to give her new song concepts because the song concepts aren't strong enough to even contain a good song. Oh, good. I already deleted Gracie Abrams, so we can just start writing now. Song concepts. If anything, she really likes emotionally palatable songs about trauma and heartbreak, which you can say about everyone in the mainstream right now. But we'll stick with that vibe. Concepts from Madison Beer. What are some interesting things about Madison Beer that create conflict? She's very pretty, but she's traumatized. That's a decent angle you could go at, even though I have seen it a million times. Song concept. Let's write a song about looking beautiful on the outside, but miserable on the inside. And we'll call it makeup therapy. I mean, maybe there's something better that rolls off the tongue. It could be about using makeup and cosmetics and Instagram filters, which a lot of people can relate to make up for the fact that you feel terrible. That's like an immediate emotional contrast that is stronger than really what I see Madison Beer putting out. Here's another concept, a song about running from your demons in style, which is basically what Madison Beer talks about anyway. But I mean, this is a little bit deeper in the sense that let's call it black dress. And the extended metaphor would be you wear a stunning black dress and you're always beautiful. You walk down these red carpet aisles, but deep down it's hiding insecurity or something. I don't know. I mean, anything is more interesting than now that na bittersweet. I'm wondering if there's anything in Madison Beer's discography that I think she should rely on. I mean, I've listened to Reckless, but it's not a particularly interesting song. She does really like a bell. Like, she likes sounds that twinkle. She could write like a song contrasting like childhood innocence and growing up. I mean, that could be a cliche, but she could do it in her own way. The final artist I want to talk about is Tate McRae. Now, I do like Tate McRae songs, a few of them, but not a majority of them. Everyone knows she's a great dancer and a competent vocalist, but the problem with Tate McRae is that she's making algorithm-safe music, and even though she is mainstream now, I do get the sense that she's pulling from a lot of influences without really inventing her own thing. To me, tit for tat, or anything that's not so close to what, it sounds a little bit like Thank You Next, the album from Ariana Grande. It sounds a lot like Britney Spears, but like low key. When we look at a song like Tit for Tat, look at these verses. Thought that I might love you. Again, see how I feel. Now you're acting like that, I never will. Last night she answered my call, it sealed the deal. Right now I'm not even thinking about you. Vague. Now that you're acting like that. What are they acting like? Thought I might love you again, see how I feel. How did you feel? I mean, these are the kind of lyrics ChatGPT could write for you. I know that looks like it really hurt, that bruise on your ego. I know that it makes it worse. It had to be me, though. A little unclear what she's talking about. Because what had to be you, though? The bruise? Also, who is she? Last night she answered my call. Who is she? You see how vague this is? That it's not even clear what it's about. Let's rewrite this line. I kind of like these lines. They're not very specific, but they're better. Let's get rid of these. That looks like it really hurts. That bruise on your ego. Want to wear me like a purse? I don't know if that's a good line. I'm going to undo that. What's the bruise on your ego? I mean, that could be good too. Potentially something like that. I mean, more than anything, it would be nice if she would use specific images. I mean, when you think about a song like Gimme More by Britney Spears, yeah, the chorus It's just give me more. But it's clearly set in a specific setting, like a club. And the lines are sexy. There's nothing sexy about this, just vague. I mean, the closest I think that Tate McRae ever got to making a good song was with Sports Car. Not that I particularly listened to it that much, but it's kind of sleek. She's using the extended metaphor, the extended metaphor of a car to portray sexual intimacy. Look at this pre-chorus. Look at all these images. Oh, it's only 3 images. No, it's 1 image. I don't know. But it's cleverer than just the boring stuff she was saying on Tit for Tat. This is good. Pretty blue streetlights in my hazel eyes. And if it feels right, we can go again like 3-4 times. That's an image. I mean, maybe she could lean into this hazy, sexy vibe. This neon lit 80s style or even Y2K style sexuality instead of like the vagueness that she's been cooking up. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Just Gen Z artists have been writing really bad lyrics. I will say that I think that there are a few artists who I'm really interested in right now. I'm really optimistic about Olivia Rodrigo. It seems like she really figured out her thing. I'm optimistic about Madison Beer. I liked her album, and I thought that was good. We just need more personality in these pop stars. Algorithm-safe music is boring, and it's meaningless. I mean, for perspective for these artists, if you're having all of your songs written in a boardroom and they sound like this, why would you ever be proud of that? Why would you want to perform these on stage? They're not even meaningfully you. They're just algorithmic. I think that it'll help pop girls and pop artists in general by really digging into what you want to say instead of just making algorithm pop. Anyway, follow for more. Now I have to edit this video.